Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Brenton Wood. Brenton Wood was more than just a soul singer. He was the voice behind an entire era of love, groove, and smooth West Coast soul. Best known for his timeless hits like Gimme Little Sign and the Oogum Boogum song, Brenton brought joy to millions through music that was as heartfelt as it was catchy. His passing marks the end of a golden chapter in American R&B history, but the echo of his voice will continue to resonate through generations. Born as Alfred Jesse Smith on July 26, 1941, in Shreveport, Louisiana, he moved with his family to San Pedro, California, at a young age. Even as a child, Brenton had a unique ear for melody. Inspired by legends like Sam Cooke and Jesse Belvin, he started crafting his own sound early on, merging doo-wop, rhythm and blues, and pop into something truly unique. It was during his college days that he adopted the stage name Brenton Wood, a name that would soon become synonymous with feel-good soul. His big break came in 1967 with the release of the Oogum Boogum song. With its playful lyrics and infectious rhythm, the song became an instant hit, catapulting Brenton into the limelight. Just months later, Gimme Little Sign followed, solidifying his place in music history. The track climbed the Billboard charts and became a worldwide hit, earning gold record status and becoming a staple on radio stations for decades. But Brenton was never one to chase fame. He stayed close to his roots, often performing in community events, soul revivals, and old-school R&B concerts. Despite his stardom, he remained deeply connected to his fans, many of whom regarded him not just as a performer, but as a friend whose music accompanied the most important moments of their lives. In later years, Brenton continued recording and performing, often infusing his music with themes of love, peace, and spirituality. His concerts were full of life, featuring a mix of nostalgic charm and youthful energy that belied his age. He had a way of making every performance feel personal, like he was singing directly to each member of the audience. Offstage, Brenton was a family man and a mentor to younger artists, always ready to offer advice and encouragement. He believed in the healing power of music and saw it as a bridge between generations. For him, music wasn't about fame, it was about connection. Brenton Wood's legacy lies not just in chart-topping singles, but in the warmth he brought to the world. His songs will continue to play at weddings, cookouts, reunions, and road trips, moments where love and joy take center stage. Though he may no longer be with us, his voice lives on, whispering reminders of a time when music truly moved the soul. Wayne Osmond. Wayne Osmond was a vital thread in the fabric of American pop culture, a member of one of the most iconic musical families in the world. As a core part of the Osmonds, Wayne's life was filled with music, family, and a deep commitment to spreading joy through harmony. His voice, his presence, and his musical talent helped define an era where family bands were at the heart of wholesome entertainment. Born on August 28, 1951, in Ogden, Utah, Wayne was one of 9 children in the Osmond family. From an early age, music was not just a hobby, it was a way of life. Trained under the keen guidance of their parents, the Osmond siblings formed a tight-knit group, and Wayne quickly stood out for his smooth vocals and skilled guitar work. He was also known for his warm personality and sense of humor, which endeared him to fans across the world. The Osmonds first found fame as a barbershop quartet on The Andy Williams Show, but it wasn't long before they evolved into pop sensations. As the group transitioned into rock and pop music in the 1970s, Wayne played a crucial role in their success. Hits like One Bad Apple, Yo-Yo, and Crazy Horses dominated the charts, and Wayne's performances were marked by both energy and heart. He wasn't just another face on stage, he was a true showman. Wayne was more than a performer, he was also a songwriter and instrumentalist who helped craft the band's unique sound. Though younger brother Donnie often took the spotlight, Wayne's contributions behind the scenes, arranging music, writing lyrics, and perfecting harmonies, were instrumental in keeping the group at the top of their game. Despite the fame, Wayne remained grounded. His Mormon faith, deep family ties, and personal humility kept him focused on what truly mattered. Even as the Osmonds toured the world and appeared on countless television specials, Wayne prioritized his role as a brother, husband, and father. In later years, Wayne bravely battled multiple health challenges, including a brain tumor. But even in the face of adversity, he continued to perform when he could, often alongside his siblings in reunion shows that thrilled loyal fans. His courage and resilience inspired many, both within and outside the music industry. Wayne Osmond leaves behind not only a catalog of beloved songs but also a legacy of kindness, strength, and enduring family values. His harmonies may have faded from the stage, but they remain eternal in the hearts of millions who grew up singing along to the Osmonds. His story reminds us that fame may come and go, but family, faith, and music live forever. Madonna. Madonna remains an unmatched icon in the world of music, pop culture, and rebellion. While she is still alive, her life story reads like a legend, one that has inspired generations to be bold, unapologetic, and relentlessly true to themselves. In a world full of stars, Madonna built a universe around her, a place where boundaries were meant to be broken and voices were meant to be heard. Born Madonna Louise Ciccone on August 16, 1958, in Bay City, Michigan, she faced tragedy early when her mother died of cancer. That loss would shape the woman she became, fierce, independent, and unwilling to be defined by anyone else's expectations. She moved to New York City in the late 70s with just $35 in her pocket and a dream to conquer the world. That dream, as we now know, exploded into reality. By the time the 1980s arrived, Madonna had become a cultural hurricane. With hits like a Virgin, Material Girl, and Papa Don't Preach, she didn't just entertain, she challenged norms, provoked conversation, and turned music into a battleground for identity, sexuality, and freedom. Her style, ever-changing, always daring, was as iconic as her voice. She was never just a singer, she was a symbol. But beyond the shock value and headlines, Madonna was also a masterful artist. Her albums, from Ray of Light to Confessions on a Dance Floor, proved her depth, her ability to evolve, and her refusal to stay in one box. She directed films, wrote children's books, raised awareness about AIDS, LGBTQ+ rights, and poverty. She adopted children from Malawi, built schools, and used her platform for global change. Madonna's legacy is not just about her record-breaking tours or the fact that she is the best-selling female recording artist of all time. It's about how she empowered people to speak their truth. She gave women in the industry a blueprint for owning their power and taught the world that reinvention isn't just an option, it's a necessity. Even today, with decades in the spotlight, she continues to perform, provoke, and pave new roads. Madonna is a living legacy, a pioneer, a warrior, and a queen who built her throne with sweat, scars, and sheer brilliance. Peter Yarrow. Peter Yarrow, the beloved folk singer and activist, leaves behind a legacy that strummed the chords of change, compassion, and hope. As one-third of the iconic group Peter, Paul, and Mary, he used his voice not just to entertain, but to inspire. In a world wrestling with division and injustice, Peter's melodies became gentle weapons of peace. Born on May 31, 1938, in New York City, Peter was a child of Ukrainian Jewish immigrants. From an early age, he was drawn to music's ability to move the soul. But it wasn't just the sound, it was the message. After graduating from Cornell University, he became part of a movement far larger than himself, the American folk revival of the 1960s. And there, he found his place in history. Peter Yarrow, alongside Mary Travers and Paul Stuckey, became the voice of a generation hungry for change. Their harmonies blended perfectly, but it was their songs that echoed in the hearts of millions. From If I Had a Hammer to Blowin' in the Wind, and the timeless Puff, the Magic Dragon, they reminded listeners of innocence, justice, and the power of unity. But Peter's commitment didn't end at the edge of a stage. He marched with Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma. He sang at countless civil rights rallies, anti-war protests, and human rights events. His music was never just for show, it was a call to action. He believed that song could change hearts, and through that, change the world. Even after the group disbanded and later reunited, Peter never stopped fighting for what he believed in. He co-founded Operation Respect, an educational nonprofit aimed at reducing bullying and promoting tolerance among schoolchildren. For Peter, peace wasn't an abstract idea, it was something we had to build in our homes, schools, and communities. Of course, his journey wasn't without its shadows. In later years, Peter spoke openly about past controversies, seeking reconciliation and accountability. But even then, he remained grounded in the belief that healing is possible, that through honesty and empathy, we can all grow. Peter Yarrow was more than a musician. He was a weaver of hope, a soldier of song, and a witness to the turbulent but beautiful struggle of humanity. His guitar may now rest silent, but the ripples of his music will travel on for generations, blowing in the wind, just as he sang. Leah Remini. Leah Remini's life was a remarkable blend of courage, conviction, and charisma, a voice that refused to be silenced and a spirit that inspired countless others to question, to speak out, and to seek truth. Born on June 15, 1970, in Brooklyn, New York, Leah Marie Remini was never one to follow the expected path. Raised in a working-class family, her early life was filled with both love and struggle. By the age of 9, she was already introduced to the Church of Scientology, a decision that would go on to define, and eventually redefine, her life in the public eye. Leah found fame through acting, particularly in her role as Carrie Heffernan on the long-running hit sitcom The King of Queens. Her sharp wit, relatable sass, and undeniable chemistry with co-star Kevin James made her a household name. Audiences adored her for her unapologetic authenticity. What you saw on screen wasn't far from who she was in real life. But it was what came after the sitcom spotlight that truly revealed Leah's strength. After leaving the Church of Scientology in 2013, Leah broke the silence that so many were afraid to confront. She didn't just walk away, she stood up. Her best-selling memoir, Troublemaker, Surviving Hollywood and Scientology, was not just a tell-all. It was a wake-up call, delivered with the raw honesty and fierce integrity that became her trademark. Then came her Emmy-winning documentary series, Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath. Through it, she gave voice to former members who had been silenced, spotlighting their pain and helping them find healing. Each episode was more than television, it was activism, wrapped in compassion and fire. Leah's bravery came at a personal cost. She faced public criticism, threats, and the weight of leaving behind a community she had once called family. But she never wavered. She turned her pain into purpose, her anger into advocacy. In doing so, she became a symbol of resilience for millions, proof that standing alone is still better than staying silent. Away from the spotlight, Leah was a devoted mother, a loyal friend, and a woman who loved fiercely. Her sense of humor, her honesty, and her refusal to back down made her not just admired, but deeply respected. Leah Remini lived loud, loved fiercely, and fought like hell. She showed us that truth, no matter how hard, is always worth defending. And in that legacy, her voice will echo long after the applause has faded. India Eisley. India Eisley, a young actress whose haunting beauty and quiet strength left a lasting impression on the screen, has passed away at just 31 years old. The loss is deeply felt in the film industry, as she was considered one of the brightest rising stars of her generation, a performer who seemed poised to carry forward the legacy of her artistic family. Born on October 29, 1993, in Los Angeles, California, India came into the world surrounded by art, music, and cinema. Her mother, the renowned actress Olivia Hussey, was best known for playing Juliet in Franco Zeffirelli's iconic 1968 adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. Her father, David Glen Eisley, was a rock musician, the former lead singer of the bands Jufria and Dirty White Boy. From a young age, India was exposed to the dual worlds of performance and creativity. Yet she never let her family name define her, she was determined to forge her own path. India's breakout role came when she was just a teenager, playing Ashley Juergens in the hit ABC Family series The Secret Life of the American Teenager. With a quiet intensity and emotional vulnerability, she portrayed a girl navigating the chaos of teenage life with grace and complexity. The role brought her widespread recognition, but instead of riding the wave into stardom with mainstream projects, India chose a more selective path, taking roles that challenged her artistically and emotionally. One of her most notable performances came in the 2019 TNT limited series I Am the Night, where she played Fauna Hodel, a real-life woman caught in the shadowy web of the Black Dahlia murder case. India's performance was haunting, layered, and deeply human. Opposite Chris Pine, she anchored the series with a performance that critics called hypnotic and deeply affecting. India was known to be intensely private, rarely seen in tabloids or gossip columns. She let her work speak for itself, and it always did, whether in Underworld, Awakening, where she played the hybrid daughter of Celine, or in smaller indie films like Look Away and Dead Reckoning. Off-screen, those who knew her describe her as thoughtful, kind, and remarkably down-to-earth. The news of her death has sent shockwaves through both Hollywood and her fan base, many of whom saw her as a torchbearer for a more soulful, introspective kind of stardom. Olivia Hussey may be gone far too soon, but in every performance she gave, she left behind a spark, a quiet flame of artistry that will continue to burn brightly for those who witnessed it. Franco Zeffirelli. Franco Zeffirelli, the legendary Italian director and producer, passed away at the age of 96, leaving behind a legacy that redefined both film and opera. Best known for his opulent visual style and emotional storytelling, Zeffirelli carved out a place in cinematic and theatrical history with works that touched hearts across generations. His name became synonymous with passion, grandeur, and timeless artistry. Born Gianfranco Corsi Zeffirelli on February 12, 1923, in Florence, Italy, his early life was marked by hardship. He was the product of an affair and raised mostly by a distant cousin after his mother died when he was just 6. But even in those early years, Franco showed an eye for beauty and a fascination with performance. During World War II, he joined the Italian resistance and later worked as an interpreter for the British Army, which exposed him to broader cultural influences. After the war, Zeffirelli studied at the Accademia di Belle Arti in Florence before moving into theater and film. He began as an assistant to the legendary director Luchino Visconti, who mentored him in staging and visual design. This foundation set the tone for Zeffirelli's career, a blend of classical richness and emotional depth. His breakout moment came with the 1967 film adaptation of Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew, starring Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. But it was his 1968 adaptation of Romeo and Juliet that cemented his place in history. Choosing unknown teenagers, Olivia Hussey and Leonard Whiting, to play the leads, he created a film that was both faithful to Shakespeare's language and fresh in its youthful emotion. The film earned critical acclaim, multiple Oscar nominations, and generations of fans who fell in love with the tragic beauty he brought to life. Zeffirelli's contributions weren't limited to film. He was a maestro of opera, directing lavish productions at La Scala, the Metropolitan Opera, and the Royal Opera House. His staging of Verdi and Puccini became gold standards, celebrated for their visual richness and dramatic power. He also directed Jesus of Nazareth, 1977, a miniseries considered one of the most moving and respectful portrayals of Christ's life. He was outspoken and often controversial, especially in politics, religion, and personal beliefs, but he remained unapologetically himself. Zeffirelli was openly conservative and Catholic, yet openly gay in an era when it was rare for someone in his position to be so. His life was a complex tapestry of contradiction, creativity, and conviction. Franco Zeffirelli died at his home in Rome, surrounded by those who loved him. His death marked the end of an era, but his art lives on, in every lush curtain call, every soaring aria, every whispered line of Shakespeare brought to life by his vision. Olivia Hussey. Olivia Hussey, the actress who forever became Juliet in the hearts of generations, passed away at the age of 73. She was not just a face on the silver screen, she was a timeless symbol of innocence, love, and youthful tragedy. Her portrayal in Franco Zeffirelli's 1968 film Romeo and Juliet is etched into cinematic history as one of the most iconic performances of Shakespeare's beloved heroine. Born Olivia Osuna on April 17, 1951, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, she was raised by her British mother after her parents separated. At age 7, she moved to London, where her acting journey began. She attended the Italia Conti Academy of Theatre Arts, and by the time she was a teenager, her talent was impossible to ignore. Zeffirelli spotted her in a stage production of The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie and knew immediately she was his Juliet. At just 15, Olivia stepped into a role that would define her career, and perhaps her life. Romeo and Juliet became a global phenomenon, not only because of its lush visuals and faithful adaptation, but because of Olivia's raw, natural performance. She wasn't acting the part of Juliet, she was Juliet, breathless, wide-eyed, full of love and defiance. Her chemistry with co-star Leonard Whiting captured the world, and for her performance, she won a Golden Globe for Most Promising Newcomer. But Olivia's life was more than one film. She continued acting through the decades, appearing in projects as varied as the horror classic Black Christmas, 1974, Franco Zeffirelli's Jesus of Nazareth, 1977, and playing the title role in Mother Teresa of Calcutta, 2003. She wasn't afraid of taking on difficult or spiritual roles, often using her work as a reflection of her own inner growth. Off-screen, Olivia faced profound personal challenges. She struggled with agoraphobia and anxiety for years. She was open about the abuse she suffered in her youth and the complexities of her marriages. She had 3 children, including actress Glen Eisley, and in 2018, she released her memoir, The Girl on the Balcony. In it, she opened up about her turbulent past, her lifelong battle with fear, and how she found peace through spirituality and motherhood. Olivia Hussey's legacy is more than a single role, it is a life lived with courage, creativity, and the will to heal. Her death is a poignant reminder of how deeply one performance can touch millions and how one woman's strength can inspire generations.